I can remember the first time I was president and that some of you brought your sons or daughters in to visit with me, and I could talk. Now, you bring your grandchildren, and I've still taught you. I've been here a very long time. I came in don't pass out now, 1973. How long ago was that? And I came as the chair of the business department. And at that time, my husband and I moved up here from Mississippi. He was working in state government. I was working here. And he said, how long do you think we're going to be here? I said, 5 years. He said, okay. So at the end of the 5 years, we sat down. I said, well, I think I'd like to stay another 5 years. Or maybe just 2. Okay. And by that time, you know how state government, they change, new people come in and things happen, and it happened. And anyway, my husband started his own company, so he has probably seen them, interstate truck washes. And I thought, what on earth? A truck wash? But it's proven to be very good, and we have throughout the Midwest and the South and on. So he could go any place actually. So it was sort of up to me. How long? All right. It just kept going. So from 1973, things happened and changes happened. And then I became a vice president. And then in 1990, I became president. And now, as we just found out, John Fugere has done all the research. And I have to say, I started to say, maybe not the oldest, but probably, but the longest serving female president in the state of Missouri. Now, how cool is that? And I'm still here. Thank you. Now, what I want to say to y'all, because you are where I was several years ago, but I still remember it. And let me just tell you a few things I've learned throughout the years, and there have been many years. When I was your age, and I can remember it was the end of my sophomore year, I went in to meet my advisor to register, and my advisor said, well, you have to declare a major. And I said, a major? He said, yes, you have to have a major. And I said, I've been taking classes, I've been taking a little bit of this, a little bit of that. In my era, they called it the core curriculum. Now it's sort of general studies, but it's a little English, a little history, a little philosophy, a little psychology. I loved it all. But to have a major. So and I didn't have one, but now I did before I registered because I had to figure it out. But those of you who are here today, and I've kind of looked to see what you're thinking about. Now, some of you absolutely know what you want to study. And some of you have what I call the number one major, undecided. And I have, through the years, especially as a vice president and president, I've looked at the incoming class. And truly, that has been our number one major. So don't feel bad about it and don't feel pressured. In fact, I would say to you, keep undecided if you haven't already really made your mind up. Then something along the way will trip your trigger and you're going to say, maybe this is the area. But another thing I want to say to you, and keep this in the back of your mind the whole time you're here, and I assume that you're all going to be here, but keep this in the back of your mind. What are we preparing you for? We are preparing you, in most cases, for positions that do not exist. Now, you look at me and you think, what? Let me put it in perspective for you. Now, I told you that I became president in 1990. When I was president, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers. We didn't have the internet. None of this. heaven forbid, Snapchat and all the things, the Twitters and everything that's happening today. It did not exist. So we, at that time, were educating students for positions and for careers that did not exist, but much more so today. It's happening rapidly. You see how quickly it's changed and changing, but you have no idea if you, from my lifetime, the changes that have happened. Now, I will say, it's a little challenging for an older person to keep up with you and all that you're doing, but you help me do that. And that's one of the things I'll say about William Lloyd's. If you said to me, well, why did you stay all these years? It's the kids. People still ask me when I travel, and I travel a lot, but they say, well, how can you have stayed there all these years? The kids. And I love the fact that you'll probably even see it today, but when I go to the dining hall, when I'm here on campus, I go to the dining hall and have a little table and they come up and talk to me. But the kids will say to me, oh, Barnett, there's something you need to know. And I'll go, okay. And so they said, now you may not ever use this, it'd be like Snapchat or something. I said, but you need to know that it exists. Okay. And I can remember a couple of years ago, they came up and they said, you need to know about Yik Yak. I said, about what? And they said, you don't use it, but you need to know that it exists. And they explained it to me. And it wasn't 12 hours later that I was someplace out in the community and someone said to me, well, there's this thing called Yik Yak. And I'm sure you don't know what it means. I'm like, excuse me, yes I do. Thank you very much, kids. But that's kind of what I would say to you. Now, I hope that you, I think it's very important that you look at a variety of schools, different schools, large schools, small schools, public schools, private schools. You need to look at as many as you can, and then narrow them down. And then I would say to you, I would recommend you never select a school until you spent the night on the campus. I think that's very important. Because when you spend the night on the campus, you're not exactly on your own, because we have someone that you stay with, and we don't want to just have a free-for-all. But we want you to have time to ask your own questions, go to a couple of classes, go to the dining hall, do the things that you would do if you were a student, and then you get the real feel. Ask the questions that are important to you. You'll decide. You will know, whether it's this campus or another campus, you will know this is where I want to spend my next several years. Some of you are transfers, so for some of you it's the next 2 years. Some of you will be with us for 4 years. I would recommend that you come in and stay 5 years and get your master's, because you can do it in 5. Start doing it now. I'm one of those people who when I started school, I did it very quickly. I left after my junior year in high school, and I started college at 16. And I went through just like I was killing snakes. I mean, I wanted to get that degree, and I did, and then I thought, well, I'll just stay 1 more year. So I got my master's, and then I just kept going, and finally, the professor called me in, and he said, you're halfway to your doctorate. Do you realize that? And I went, well, no. And he said, sit down. And so we had this great conversation, as I would do with you if you were here. And so I finished. But I do remember my dad was a banker, so he was cognizant of all of these things. And at one point he called me and he said, are you ever going to finish school and get a job, or are you just going to be a professional student? I said, well, you know what? And then it hit me. I loved it so much. This is what I wanted to do the rest of my life, be a professional student. And I am, and I have been. So I say to you, as you go through and you try to make your decisions, there are things you need to look for. Are you comfortable? Do you like the people? Do you feel challenged? Do you think you're going to be challenged? I will tell you, if you're a freshman, I will speak to you again, and I will tell you, and you'll hear this throughout several times when I speak, because I live it and I believe it. I think your college years should be absolutely great years. I think you should love it. Let me assure you, well, obviously, loved college. And I had a great time. And I think that you should too. It's not all about academics. I learned as much out of the classroom as I did in. But you need to take advantage of everything, and you need to love it. You need to enjoy it. I cried every time I graduated. I mean, I did. I cried to, I didn't want to leave. Well, obviously, so I kept going. But I cried all y'all's graduations too. But the real deal is, after you leave college, if we've done our job well, the rest of your life is the best of your life. So that's what we do. That is our mantra around here. We really prepare you so that the rest of your life will be the best of your life. You want to enjoy it more as long as you keep your health, as long as you keep your spirituality, as long as you keep your mental faculties. These are the important things so that you can love life. And trust me, I've loved it. I had great college preparation. And this sort of became my philosophy after I graduated from college for the third time and started working and realized what great preparation my faculty had given me. And I thought, because, I didn't cry anymore, lost it. It was great. So wherever you decide to finish your education, and you never finish, you just take the next step. But I hope I hope you do the same thing. I hope you realize that that's what you're doing. You're preparing yourself so that the rest of your life will be the best. You're going to be challenged. You're going to have decisions you're going to have to make. Remember, you have to live with those decisions forever. My day, you didn't. You could do some crazy things and nobody knew it. Well, I mean, they might have known it. But it kind of faded away, but not today. Everything we do lives on and on. So think about that when you make your decisions. So have a great rest of, whether you're a senior or a junior or a transfer or some of you even younger, enjoy what's left. Just know that it's going to get better. And it just keeps getting better. And love life, enjoy life, take advantage of everything you can. I really encourage you to again, I know that you come for academic reasons. Don't just stay in the classroom. Get to know the people, get to know the things, get to know how to work with people. I've had, obviously, a long career, and I have had a lot of people who worked with me and who reported to me. Not one person have I ever released because they didn't have the mental ability to do the job. It's because they couldn't get along with others, and they couldn't communicate, and they couldn't share. So learn to do that. Learn to lead. Learn to follow. And enjoy it all as well as you go. Do y'all have any questions at all for me? Okay, one other thing I would say to you, and particularly I think I'm talking to the parents, I think it's important that you know that William Woods for over 15 years has remained in the black. We have no long-term debt. We're one of the few institutions like that. So I can say to you kids, we'll be here. When you get out and you're looking for positions, we're here. And you're going to appreciate that. If you have no questions at all, I know that you're going to be touring a little bit more, and I will be in the dining hall at lunch. And if you have a personal question you'd like to ask me, please do come up and do so. And for some of you who I've known for quite a while and I see you back, come and say hello to me, Jessica, and have a great, great time while you're here. Thank you very much. Thank you.